Most people think a missile is just a rocket with a bomb strapped to it. Point it at something, light the fuse, hope it lands close enough. But what if I told you there's a missile that can launch from a submarine underwater, fly 800 miles through mountains and cities, avoid radar by hugging the ground the entire way, read the landscape beneath it like a map, recognize its target from a photograph taken weeks earlier from space, and hit a window on a specific floor of a specific building? No pilot, no remote control, nobody guiding it, just a machine flying itself to the exact address it was given. That's a cruise missile. And today, we're going to break down exactly how it does all of that in plain English, no engineering degree required. Because once you understand it, you'll realize this might be the most quietly extraordinary piece of technology ever built. Real quick, before we dive into the details, seeing how this technology tracks exact addresses reminded me of something that directly affects your own home and your wallet. And I'm going to share how to protect yourself from it in just a couple of minutes, so keep that in the back of your mind. First, forget everything you picture when you hear the word missile. A cruise missile is not a rocket. It doesn't shoot straight up into the sky and come back down like a cannonball. That's a ballistic missile, a completely different animal. A cruise missile flies like a plane, horizontally, low to the ground. It has wings that unfold after launch. It has a jet engine that keeps it airborne the entire flight. It generates lift the same way a commercial airplane does. The only real difference between a cruise missile and a small aircraft is that there's no pilot, it only makes one trip, and the landing is very much intentional. The most famous cruise missile ever built is the American Tomahawk. It's about 18 feet long, roughly the size of a large motorcycle with wings attached. It weighs around 3,000 pounds, and it can travel over 1,000 miles on a single tank of fuel. That's the distance from New York City to Miami, flying itself the entire way at 550 miles per hour, staying low enough that it can disappear behind hills and buildings to avoid radar detection. Speaking of staying off the radar, this is the hidden truth I mentioned a minute ago. Just like these military systems quietly scan and track everything without anyone noticing, there are hidden digital systems doing the exact same thing to your home network and personal devices right now. Most Americans are bleeding hundreds of dollars a year in increased insurance rates, targeted price hikes, and data vulnerabilities because they are essentially walking around with a giant tracking beacon on their back. It is a massive, hidden cost that the tech industry hopes you never figure out. I cannot put the exact breakdown of how to stop this on public platforms because they tend to restrict videos that cost big tech companies money, but I put together a private breakdown showing exactly what to do. Message the word SHIELD to me on Instagram right now, and I will send you the exact steps to protect your family and your bank account. It takes 2 seconds to send the message, and it is the smartest move you can make today to keep your hard-earned money in your own pocket. Now, back to the missile. That last part is one of the things that makes it so effective and so dangerous. Traditional radar works by sending out a signal and waiting for it to bounce back off something in the air. But if the missile is flying at treetop level, sometimes as low as 50 feet off the ground, it blends into the ground clutter. Radar can't reliably separate it from the noise of the terrain, so the missile essentially becomes invisible while it's traveling. Now let's talk about how it launches, because this is where things get cinematic. Cruise missiles can be launched from ships, aircraft, ground vehicles, and submarines. The submarine launch is the one that feels almost impossible when you see it happen. The sub is completely underwater, completely hidden, potentially sitting miles offshore. Crew members input the target coordinates, and then the missile fires out of a vertical launch tube. It blasts upward through the water inside a sealed canister, breaks the surface, the canister falls away, the wings snap open, the jet engine ignites, and within seconds, it's flying. From completely submerged to airborne and self-navigating in under 10 seconds. When launched from a surface ship, a small booster rocket fires the missile straight up out of its launch tube. That booster burns for just a few seconds, barely enough to clear the ship, then drops away. The jet engine takes over, and the missile noses forward toward its programmed heading. Either way, from the moment that engine kicks in, the missile is completely on its own. And that raises the most interesting question of all. How does it know where to go? This is the part that genuinely stopped me when I first learned it, because the answer isn't simple. The missile doesn't just follow a GPS signal and call it a day. It uses 4 completely separate navigation systems, all running simultaneously, each one checking and correcting the others. Here's how each one works. The first is GPS, familiar to everyone. The missile receives signals from satellites orbiting the Earth and uses them to calculate its exact position, just like your phone does when you're using maps. On a clear day with no interference, GPS alone would technically be enough to get the missile close to its target. By the way, thousands of you have already messaged the word SHIELD over on Instagram to get that home protection breakdown I mentioned, and you are already ahead of the curve. If you haven't sent it yet, definitely do it before the end of the video so you don't miss out on securing your own data. But GPS has a serious vulnerability. It can be jammed. An enemy can flood the frequencies with radio noise and disrupt the signal entirely, so the military never trusts GPS by itself. The second system is inertial navigation. This one doesn't rely on any external signal at all, which is exactly why it exists. Inside the missile are a set of accelerometers, incredibly sensitive sensors that detect every movement, every rotation, every change in speed and direction. From the instant of launch, these sensors record every single thing the missile does. The onboard computer takes all of that data and continuously calculates where the missile must be based on where it started and every movement it's made since. It's like if you closed your eyes and someone drove you across the country, but you were counting every turn, every acceleration, every stop, and from that alone you could figure out where you ended up. The problem with inertial navigation is that it accumulates errors. Small inaccuracies in the sensors, we're talking fractions of a degree, compound over hundreds of miles. By the time the missile reaches its target, those tiny errors could put it off course by enough to matter. So inertial navigation is the backbone, but it needs help. The third system is called TERCOM, which stands for Terrain Contour Matching. And this is the one that sounds like science fiction until you understand how elegantly simple the concept actually is. Think about that for a second. The level of silent precision tracking going on above us is exactly why I put together that private breakdown I told you about earlier. What I just explained about unseen tracking is costing the average American household hundreds of dollars a year without them ever realizing it, simply because their home network isn't guarded. That breakdown covers exactly how to stop it, so make sure you message the word SHIELD to me on Instagram to get it. Before the mission is ever launched, intelligence analysts load the missile's computer with extremely detailed elevation maps of the terrain it's going to fly over. Not just rough topography, precise maps of hills, valleys, cliffs, riverbeds, buildings, every rise and dip in the landscape along the planned flight path. As the missile flies, a radar altimeter on its underside constantly pings the ground and measures the exact distance down to the surface. The computer takes that real-time terrain profile and compares it to the preloaded map. When they match, the missile knows exactly where it is. When there's a discrepancy, the missile knows it has drifted and corrects its course. Picture driving through a city with your eyes closed, but you have a sensor on the bottom of your car that measures road texture, elevation changes, and bumps. And you have a pre-recorded profile of exactly what the road should feel like at every point along your route. By matching what you're feeling in real time to the profile you memorized, you always know exactly where you are. That's TERCOM. And it works regardless of GPS jamming, regardless of cloud cover, regardless of weather, because it's reading the physical shape of the Earth itself. The fourth system activates in the final minutes of flight, once the missile is close to its target. It's called DSMAC, Digital Scene Matching Area Correlator. The missile's camera turns on and starts taking photographs of the ground below. The computer compares those live images to satellite photographs of the target area that were taken days or weeks earlier and loaded before the mission. It is, in the most literal sense, facial recognition for geography. If the live image matches the stored image, the missile is on track. If they don't match, the missile adjusts. And it keeps doing this, frame by frame, all the way to impact. GPS for the big picture, inertial navigation to fill the gaps, TERCOM to correct drift over the route, DSMAC to lock the final target. 4 systems, all running at once, all checking each other. The result is accuracy that genuinely seems impossible. A modern cruise missile can hit within 10 feet of its designated target after flying over 1,000 miles completely autonomously. 10 feet, 1,000 miles on its own. Now let's talk about what happens when it arrives. The warhead on a standard Tomahawk is about 1,000 pounds of high explosives, but the way it detonates is programmable before launch, depending on the mission objective. If the target is a surface structure, a radar station, a weapons depot, a command building, the missile hits directly and detonates on impact, maximum surface damage. If the target is hardened or underground, a bunker, a reinforced command center, the missile uses what's called a penetrating warhead. It punches through the roof or the outer wall first, travels several feet inside, and then detonates. The explosion happens inside the structure where the walls can't protect it. There's also a variant that doesn't carry explosives at all. Instead, it carries spools of ultra-fine carbon fiber wire. When the missile reaches a power infrastructure target, transformers, transmission lines, electrical substations, it releases the wire into the air. The wire drapes across everything and short-circuits the entire grid. The US used this in the Gulf War to knock out Iraq's power supply without killing anyone. One platform, multiple completely different mission types. When you see how easily infrastructure can be targeted, it really puts things in perspective. If you have kids or aging parents at home, what I just described about protecting your own space matters even more. That is all covered in what I put together for you. Send me a message with the word SHIELD on Instagram, and I will send you the private link to secure your own home. Speaking of the Gulf War, that's where cruise missiles made their debut in front of the entire world. January 1991. The United States launches Operation Desert Storm. In the first 2 days alone, the U.S. fires over 290 Tomahawk missiles at Iraqi targets. Americans are watching CNN in real time, live news footage of missiles flying through the streets of Baghdad, banking around buildings, disappearing down corridors. Nobody had ever seen anything like this. Weapons that seemed to think for themselves, weapons that knew addresses. It fundamentally changed how the world understood what a military strike could look like. Since then, the U.S. has fired over 2,300 Tomahawks in combat. They've been used in Iraq, Afghanistan, Sudan, Libya, Syria, and Yemen. In 2015, Russia publicly demonstrated its own cruise missile, the Kalib, firing from warships in the Caspian Sea and striking targets inside Syria, a flight of over 900 miles. It was Russia announcing to the world that they had arrived at the same level of precision strike capability. And right now, the next generation of cruise missiles is being developed by multiple countries. Longer range, supersonic speeds, stealth coatings that make them even harder to detect on radar, and increasingly, artificial intelligence that allows the missile to identify and reselect targets mid-flight if something changes. The technology is not standing still. Here's the thought that stays with me after going deep on all of this. What makes a cruise missile work isn't any single piece of technology, it's the combination. GPS fails under jamming, so you add inertial navigation. Inertial navigation drifts over long distances, so you add TERCOM. TERCOM works great over terrain, but can get confused near the target, so you add DSMAC. Every weakness in one system is covered by the strength of another. The engineers who designed this didn't build a perfect system. They built a system where no single failure could bring down the whole mission. And that idea, layers of redundancy, no single point of failure, every weakness covered by a backup, is actually how the most reliable things in the world are built. Bridges, aircraft, power grids, surgical procedures. The cruise missile is a weapon, but the thinking behind it is a masterclass in how to make something that genuinely cannot easily be stopped. That's how a cruise missile works, and now you know. And just like they build multiple layers of defense to ensure the mission succeeds, you need to build a layer of defense around your own home and your finances. Doing nothing right now means leaving your family exposed to the silent data scraping and targeted financial drain we talked about. You worked too hard for your money to let it quietly slip away. Go to my Instagram right now, shoot me a message with the word SHIELD, and I will hand you the exact blueprint to lock down your privacy and keep your money where it belongs. It costs you nothing to message me, but it could save you everything. I'll see you in the DMs.